farm, family, community. This is Midwest Farm Weekly.
Good morning, I'm Elaine Wells and welcome to Midwest Farm Weekly. This June Dairy Month, we are touring several farms in our area. In Pulaski, you will find Synergy Family Dairy. The day-to-day operations are handled by Jay and Heather Jokey, along with their children Mason, Carter, and Evan, plus a team of valued employees. The family asks themselves a few key questions every day.
How do we best care for the animals that are on our farm? How do we make their life better every day? And secondly, how do we farm in a way that's sustainable, that we're hoping to pass this farm along to the next generation, to one or more of our 3 sons. And so how do we keep that sustainable so that they can do the same down the road? And how do we take care of the land and our community relations here so that they have that opportunity in the future?
Like many Wisconsin farm families, Heather and Jay Jokey have roots in agriculture.
I grew up in Kewaunee County on a dairy farm, and I decided that I really like cows. I love working with cows. So that made the decision to go on to UW-Madison and get a degree in dairy science, a 4-year degree. And so that's something, one of the better decisions I've made, besides marrying Heather, of course.
They were passionate about the industry, but didn't plan to own cows. Heather pursued a degree in microbiology.
Well, I can tell you that the one thing I knew for certain when I graduated from high school was that I was not going to be a dairy farmer. So
the couple worked in the egg industry for years off the farm before deciding to purchase this Pulaski property with Heather's parents in 2004.
We felt a strong pull back to day-to-day farming, and we really wanted to raise our family in this environment. So just the sense of purpose that we have every day in what we're doing, and the pride that you can take in producing food for our community it's very fulfilling.
So we own about 600 acres. We also work with some of the other local neighbors with buying crops from them, which really is a fantastic relationship. We have a wonderful community, a strong community, and it's good working with other people, area farmers. I need to work with them because we do milk about 600 cows.
They enjoy tracking what happens to their milk once it leaves the farm. Typically, it's turned into cheddar or feta, but depending on demand, it can become shredded mozzarella for the frozen pizza industry. They take pride in showing consumers the hard work that goes into making their favorite products.
So no matter what we do, the decisions we make is to keep the cows comfortable. So with that, we do have sand bedding for the cows. We do everything we can to raise the calves properly and get them off to a great start.
The farm was awarded Shawano County Conservation Farm of the Year in 2010. In 2019, they hosted a tour for the National Holstein Convention. And this summer, Synergy Dairy is the site of Shawano County Brunch on the Farm.
We have a great community, right? And to have your farm open up, to give them the opportunity to come and see what we do, to see how we care for our animals, to see that we're producing a high quality product. One of the exciting things for me is we're going to have tours. They will get the idea of, hey, this is where the manure goes and this is how we manage it. You know, the nutrients from the manure, why we apply it back on the fields, how we care for our land, the things that we do to work with the environment and to work with our neighbors that live right across the road so they understand, hey, this is what we're doing things right, and we're doing things for the environment, you know, in a correct way.
The Jokeys enjoy connecting with kids through FFA, 4-H, and the statewide Adopt a Cow program.
Oh, having kids, there's just nothing better than having kids on the farm, especially kids that have never been upfront and personal with a cow before. It's great. I think it's no secret that as you drive around the rural Wisconsin countryside, the dairy industry is changing. It's very apparent. And naturally, most people don't have a direct connection back to a farm anymore. So I think it leads people to be very curious about how their food is being produced, what's happening on these farms. So it's our livelihood and it's what we love to do. So it's natural that we want to share that and open up our doors and have people come in and see what it's all about.
Shawano County Brunch on the Farm is Sunday, June 25th. This farm is located on County Road S in Pulaski. You can visit wisconsindairy.org/national-dairy-month to find a celebration near you. The FFA convention took place in Madison this past week. A new group of state officers was selected, and I had the chance to chat with the incoming president moments after the big announcement. She is Mary Schreiber of the East Troy FFA.
Take us back, though, to your involvement in FFA. How did your passion begin?
So I grew up without any traditional production agriculture background. And then I got to like 8th grade, 9th grade, and my advisor kind of voluntold me to join FFA. So I got roped into speaking contests like Creed and career development events like poultry judging. And from there, I just like blossomed and fell in love with agriculture and leadership and FFA. I started a beekeeping supervised agriculture experience. So that's where my production ag heart lies.
Talk about your experience serving the state already in a role this last year.
It's been the most amazing experience of my life. I cannot thank my teammates enough for all they've done to support me throughout the whole year. All 25,425 Wisconsin FFA members, which is a new record high for membership this year. They were amazing to serve. Our convention was electric. The energy was unbeatable. We were absolutely so grateful for all this year and all the students that made it so great.
What are you looking forward to about the year ahead now, being able to serve as president?
I'm really excited to start setting new goals and meeting those goals with a new team, whether it's an increase in membership or higher participation in contests or even convention here again. I'm really excited to get students ramped back up again with now that the dust has kind of settled on convention. The excitement doesn't stop, though. From here on out, we keep building and elevating.
Did I read somewhere that you actually hold a patent for some sort of animal research?
Do actually. So in 8th grade, my teammates and I, for a robotics group that we were in middle school, filed for a patent on an internal health monitoring microchip that can sense the vitals of animals. So we thought it could work for like household pets like dogs and cats, and also livestock like cattle and sheep.
Welcome back. Krista Carnegie, Administrator of DATCAP's Division of Agricultural Development, joins me today with an update on a number of international outreach opportunities for Wisconsin agriculture. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Elaine.
Well, I'd like to start with your recent trade mission to Japan. What was the goal of that?
Well, opportunity for expanding, developing, and continuing relationships with one of our top 5 trading partners for the state of Wisconsin.
When we look at Wisconsin agriculture exports, I think, certainly we think cheese, which is very important, but there are a lot of products people may not even realize are intriguing to the international market. Talk about some of those that people might be surprised to learn. Sure.
So not only cheese, right? 90% of the cheese that we make here in Wisconsin leaves the state for other markets, but dairy ingredients are also something. So the whey proteins and ingredients that people can use in food, but also vegetables and sauces and meats are major exports, as well as animal feed.
You also mentioned lumber. I don't know that everyone thinks of lumber, but we grow trees here.
We absolutely do. Over half of Wisconsin's land is forested, wow. And we do have some very good relationships that we're trying to establish with some export markets for our lumber.
So when you were in Japan, talk me through some of the things you got to experience.
Yeah, so the USDA has got a foreign ag service team that helps match up companies and identify opportunities for U.S. businesses. Okay. And so we were able to do some tours of some of those businesses, and also businesses who came along, so the companies did one-on-one meetings.
Oh, very nice. Conversely, we spoke last week briefly about the visit. There was a trade team from Japan who came stateside, so we're making sure that that connection's going both ways, right?
Yes, yes. So the funding that we're using to expand our exports for agricultural products is trade missions, trade shows, but also inbound missions as well, because we want people to experience all of Wisconsin and be able to meet some of the producers who are making the food that they would be buying.
And your team is certainly logging the miles. Understand that DATCAP Secretary Romanski is currently in the UK this week. Who is he traveling with, and what's the goal there?
We've got 5 companies that are traveling with Secretary Romanski, dairy companies, we've got a vegetable company, we've got a ginseng company, and they're also talking about wood products and distilled spirits, as well as genetics is also a major export for Wisconsin in the UK, and those are opportunities that he's talking about.
Neat. Well, certainly we have a lot of foodies in our state and in our nation. There are international food shows, though, which are now officially on my bucket list after looking at some of your notes. Talk to me about some of these experiences that are coming up.
The international food shows are really a great opportunity, to meet some customers, to taste some products. We've got some upcoming Midwest Buyers Mission that we're encouraging companies to participate in to, again, develop some relationships and meet some new markets.
And certainly we're looking to strengthen relationships we have, but build new ones as well?
You bet. Through the pandemic, we saw that we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket, right? So diversifying markets, developing relationships with other regions is really important.
Krista, why is it important for the state to offer support? We have had, story after story of financial support that's being put to this mission, whether it is to our producers and processors to get them ready to export or to make these connections. Why is that important to be supportive?
Right. Well, any business is difficult to get going, and so the state really is here as a resource. And as you mentioned, if you're new to export, you're already exporting but maybe want to get into a new market, we've got some experts and can tap into Foreign Ag Service expertise to help learn about those markets and what are the things that you need to know, and how do you get your toe in the water and develop those relationships.
Well, if you need someone to come along and take pictures, you've got my card, and we look forward to learning about some of the relationships that have been forged out of these trips. Congratulations on the work being done.
Thank you.
Certainly keep track with DATCAP on their Facebook page and on their website to learn more about these and other ways those dollars are being spent.
Storm Team 5 meteorologist Ryan Kudish here with your June averages right now. Our average high usually sits around 77 degrees. Average low is 57, and our wettest month is usually in June. We have average rainfall of around 4 inches. So rainfall stats as of Thursday, the rain we saw over the weekend and into the early part of the week helped us get above where we usually sit, where we were at last year, and we are well above average right now. But you're probably wondering, it's not really reflected on our drought monitor right now. Well, the data we saw on Tuesday, it cuts off at 8 a.m. So anything we saw Tuesday afternoon didn't factor into this drought monitor. So the next one we see next Thursday should reflect a lot of that rainfall. But right now it has us sitting in that moderate zone and some north of us in that abnormally dry area. But the GFS model over the next 10 days doesn't give us much promise on rainfall. We're looking at maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain between now and the next 10 days, which is not great for any of the crops out there. But looking at, and that's reflected in our precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, having us abnormally dry between June 20th and June 24th in that 6 to 10 day outlook. Looking in that a little bit more extended, looks like after those 10 days we could see some rainfall that'll get us back up to near normal between June 22nd and June 28th. Looking at the temperature trend, I'm going to feel like a broken record with these temperatures next week. We're going to be in the 80s for at least all of next week. Well above average, sitting mainly in those mid-80s. Our average high is 77, so we'll be well above average next week. So looking at that temperature outlook, will be Climate Prediction Center between the next 8 and 14 days puts us relatively warm, and so it's going to make it feel like end of the June we're going to be above average temperatures and right at average precipitation. So more coming up after the break.
More than 100 years ago, the Salentine family put down roots in Luxembourg. They were set to host breakfast on the farm in 2020 to celebrate that centennial, but the pandemic had other plans. This year, it is full steam ahead to celebrate June Dairy Month on Father's Day.
My grandparents hosted breakfast in the mid-90s. That's when breakfast was very different. You found the own picnic tables, you found your own helpers and things. Now we have the beauty of the Kewanee County Dairy Promotions Committee. Couldn't do this without them, but I'm really excited to open our doors. We've been waiting a long time, obviously, to invite the community in, but we wouldn't run without our community members, our business partners, our family and friends that help us do everything that we do every day. So I'm excited to let everyone in the community that's surrounded in agriculture and also not in agriculture to walk on the farm, see what we do every day, see what we do is what we love, that we care for our cows just as we would care for anything else.
And they've been doing that for a long time in the same spot.
Salentine Homestead was founded in 1920 by Ben and Marie Salentine. They purchased the land that we are on and a few cows, and through that we've worked up to 5 generations. Currently the 3rd, 4th, and 5th generation are on the farm.
The family now milks just under 300 cows and grows crops on more than 500 acres. The farm is a blend of heritage and high-tech tools.
Cow comfort is one of the top priorities here. If the cow isn't comfortable, she can't do what she does best, which is produce milk. So we operate the SCR collar monitoring system, which you can see every cow wears a collar here, and that allows us to just track even more closely what she's up to every day, how much she's eating and ruminating, how much she's standing, and we're able to check kind of when a cow might not be feeling great, and then after we are able to track that, give her the specialized attention that she deserves.
Visitors can see that cow care in action at Breakfast on the Farm.
Obviously, it's really important that the community and consumer knows about the product that we're producing and that it's safe and wholesome, but it's just a different experience for somebody to get to be on a farm and get to know what's happening. Farm tours will be great. Also, breakfast is wonderful, and huge omelet that you just cannot go wrong with, and pizza in the morning. It's going to be so exciting. I'm excited for all of us to come together and to finally host the event.
Megan and her family hope that you will join them on Father's Day to celebrate Breakfast on the Farm. She says it will be bittersweet to host the event in memory of her grandma, who did play a very big role in planning it. The day starts at 7 a.m. with a church service. Food is served from 8 until noon. Salentine Homestead Dairy is on County Road A in Luxembourg. Consumers crave connection, so how do you create that halfway around the world? Corey Geiger is managing editor of Hoard's Dairyman, fresh off some international travel. I sound like I'm the one with jet lag this morning, but we'll get there, Corey. You were part of a U.S. Dairy Export Council farmer trade mission in early June to Southeast Asia, and you visited the Center for Dairy Excellence. Talk to me about this endeavor. I don't picture the Center for Dairy Excellence being in Southeast Asia.
Well, why it is, you talk about relationships. Yeah. This is 11 time zones away from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Northeast Wisconsin. So if you want to reach customers in Southeast Asia, you need a center, and the center is funded by the U.S. Dairy Export Council, think farmers and dairy processors.
And this is a market where they enjoy dairy. They just don't produce a lot of it?
They don't produce a lot of it. It's near the equator. The countries of Southeast Asia, so think like Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand, have together become our 2nd largest dairy export market next to Mexico. It's unbelievable, really.
Fascinating. I've got to get to these pictures. The products and innovations that are coming out of this research, though, is really something that is so unique to their consumer profile.
So a lot of people in America like great tasting cheese, they like butter. Southeast Asia is a lot more of an ingredient market. They want to incorporate this in the delicacies that they like. So this is a prototype here of a ginseng product with dairy products in it, and it includes milk protein concentrate and skim milk powder. And the other Wisconsin tie, in the United States, Wisconsin produces 95% of the ginseng, so this could be a double win with dairy and ginseng.
Okay, talk to me about your other option here, protein water.
So this is almost crazy. You look at it, it's protein water, it's got the color of tea, and so what they're using is acidified whey protein concentrate. So you're getting dairy in it, you're pulling some of the salt out of these drinks, which is important in Southeast Asia, and you're getting high protein in a tea drink. So these are some of the innovations, and then the other thing is a lot of work being done on pizza. Now the pizzas in Southeast Asia, in Japan and South Korea look a lot different. We're putting octopus and squid and tuna and crab, amongst other, a lot of fish.
Interesting. There are, though, people who are becoming stakeholders in this stateside that we may not expect. You were sharing one of those stories with me about Johnsonville.
Yeah, so most of the members of the U.S. Dairy Export Council really have an immediate dairy tie. Like, yes, they're members. But Johnsonville has joined the U.S. Dairy Export Council because of this center, because of its ideation in their kitchen. They have a sensory lab. But we know Johnsonville for great tasting brats. They're also working with cheese, and they're incorporating cheese in those brats, and hence the marriage between Johnsonville and great brats and dairy products.
Fascinating. Corey, is the idea to also showcase some products that we are making stateside and hopefully get consumers there to adapt and love them as much as we do?
Of course. Viewers would know the Belgioso brand. You'll see Belgioso cheese there. You'll see Organic Valley. So those are staples too. And it's a growing cheese market. But unlike some of the other parts of the world, the ingredients are really what's shining here. And obviously, when you make curds for cheese, you get whey, and so the whey is the part of that dairy ingredient story.
I know, tying back into a previous conversation, when our visitors from Japan came, they were interested in seeing our farms. They wanted to see how we were raising our animals. Does the same hold true in this part of Asia?
So we had 9 dairy farmers from coast to coast on this trade mission, and they were the stars of the show.
Great.
Quite frankly, Melaine, they were the rock stars.
Okay, great. Well, if you are looking to read more about this experience, you can at hordes.com. Certainly, Corey is sharing about what he learned while he was there and the connections that were being made. And we appreciate you joining us today. And I'm not sure, maybe I'd crack open a bottle of that. Try a sip or two.
Oh, I've tasted them both, and
Okay.
they're actually really good.
All right, you heard it here first. Thanks for joining us on Midwest Farm Weekly. Have a good one.